All right. Welcome to the Peachy Sunflower. I'm your host, Kat, and today I brought a guest on. This is Steven. And Steven, I'm going to let you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, my name's Steven. Like she said, my name's Steven. I currently work at Costco. My hobbies are mainly art and actually Lego building, which you can't see in here, but I have about 10 different Lego sets.
I have Legos in front of me. So if I grab at them.
Yeah.
So Steven, how do you know me?
We are related.
Yes. So if you're watching on YouTube, you probably can see the resemblance.
Yeah.
He's just, me, bald, or I'm him with hair.
Yeah.
So we're about 4 years apart.
3.5.
Yeah, you can do the math better than I. So I was born in 86. You were born in 90. So, yeah.
We're between 3 to 4.
Yeah. So, what was good about that is as we were growing up, we were able to kind of enjoy similar things.
Yeah.
And as you know, I bring people on to talk about what makes them happy because we want to talk about things that make people happy. We know with a lot of stuff going on in the last few years, people can kind of get down on themselves. People are looking for new hobbies, new things to make them happy. And so, I wanted to bring you on not only because you're my awesome brother, but because you have kind of something similar to me that a lot of people don't talk about, which I think it needs to be talked about more, is that we enjoy horror and Halloween. Huge Halloween fans. Like, if I chose a holiday, that's my go-to holiday. My kids since I've had kids, they've had anywhere between 4 to 6 costumes. We take them to whatever they can. They have now gotten invested in when are you going to decorate the house? When are you going to decorate the house? So he goes all out at his house. We kind of keep it simple at mine just because we come over here. So what got you into enjoying Halloween and horror?
I mean, I think Halloween I've always been a fan of. I remember even as a kid, I always liked going around. It's not even the candy. I think it was always being able to dress up. And as I became an adult, I got into cosplay, which, and if you don't know what cosplay is, look it up. It's pretty much, you get to dress up all year.
Yeah.
You get to choose any outfit. And usually, I used to start off as comic book, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten more into my horror and pro wrestling, which a lot of people don't do pro wrestling costumes. But I think horror films, I know it sounds crazy. I remember watching my first horror films. I know it sounds crazy. I think I was 5 or 6 years. I remember 6 years old watching Halloween, the original 1978, with a group of kids, and our dad busted in a mask with a knife.
That's the best memory, though, of that movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He timed it.
So I'm coughing.
Timed it. Yeah. He timed it. I don't know if he was outside the door listening or he timed it right when Michael was breaking through the
how? The window? Or
he was breaking into the closet.
Yes. And so, we had a playroom in that house, and the door was shut, and there was a couch that sat here, and then the TV was, up against the wall. And so there's all these kids on the couch, and then the floor as well. And that, back in the 90s, and it's weird to say back in the 90s, but it really is, it wasn't a big deal to let your 5-year-old watch a scary movie. It wasn't a thing. I think every neighborhood parent was we don't care.
I mean, was it the AC boys who they were the first kids I think on the street to see Scream?
Yeah.
And because they had Scream costumes. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers today about this as I was driving down the street in my little electric ATV that I used to drive everywhere. And they had the windows open, the blinds and everything. And the older brother was in the Scream costume, Ghostface, chasing the other one around.
Yeah.
And I think when you used to call each other on the phone, a lot of the kids would go, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
Right. Well, and it was a lot too. People would mess around back then with shower curtains of putting the bloody handprint, and Bloody Mary was a thing. It didn't phase us. And I think that's what's funny is that our group kind of grew up with the horror stuff, but then as you start talking to kids now, they're like, I've never seen that. And they're like high schoolers.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I get it.
Yeah.
But I also appreciated that, like, so I wouldn't call it a horror movie, but what got me into it, and you'll laugh, is Dad showed me, I think you guys had already fallen asleep, but for some reason I couldn't fall asleep. And the Birds movie came on, and you were up, but I think the people that stayed the night were not. Him and I were up, and I don't know why that movie messed with me, but that's actually a movie that scares me to this day. I don't like the Birds movie. I can watch gruesome stuff like Saw doesn't faze me and that kind of stuff, but for some reason that Birds movie, I don't like it.
Well, what is it?
Poltergeist.
I remember that night because Dad let us watch 3 movies. It was Aliens, the sequel one. It was King Kong, the original black and white, and then Birds. And I think you fell asleep during King Kong.
I did. I wasn't phased. I just didn't like it.
That was the last one. But speaking of getting serious, Poltergeist, which another one I saw when I was younger. I honestly was not scared of like the clown, the tree, or anything. The thing that stuck with me, and it took me almost 20 years, I could not get over the scene where the guy eats the cold chicken wings, like the fried chicken wings, because he sits there and eats them, and he's cooking the steak, and out of nowhere he goes in the bathroom, he starts peeling his face off. It took me till I was almost 20 years old to eat, 25 years old, to start eating cold, like Buffalo Wild Wings chicken wings.
Yeah, like leftover.
Because of that scene.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I do appreciate though that like being able to grow up with horror stuff that we then fell in love with, like, I think one of my costumes growing up was a Scream.
It was Tales from the Crypt.
And the Tales of the Crypt. I know we did Scream, Tales of the Crypt.
You did a zombie bride.
Yeah,
zombie prom.
So, funny thing, in middle school, I was kind of a weirdo and dressed in, like, things that people don't usually dress in. I remember going to school, I did cutesy things like an angel or, like, the devil. But when it came to actual Halloween, I did the bloody homecoming prom queen. I did Tales of the Crypt, and I did Scream.
And I remember when you did the prom queen, I did a... Back then, you really didn't really try to go all accurate. I did Jason Voorhees.
Yeah. So what's cool, like, you had mentioned cosplay, and we're now talking about costumes. So I think this is fun to ask. What was your favorite Halloween costume?
As a kid, and it's just because I used it. I used that freaking mask 3 or 4 years in a row. I remember going to U.S. Toys. No, it was Party City or U.S. Toys, and it was a farmer. Because I just remember it had like a balding head, and the jaws were, the cheeks were missing, the teeth were rotten, and like the eyes were like popped.
Okay.
And I remember I had that mask, and I wore it freaking so many times. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite ones to wear so much as a kid. But as I got older, my favorite costume is probably going to be Oogie Boogie.
So is that considered a costume or a cosplay?
The Oogie Boogie?
Yeah.
That would be a cosplay because cosplay means costume play, which is technically a costume, but that would definitely be my favorite cosplay. Because you've
done it numerous times. Yeah, because one of my favorite pictures is of, we had Mason dress up as Mickey, and I did Minnie, and he dressed up as Oogie Boogie, so it was like all Disney themed. And that's one of my favorite photos, is you, like, I think, like, me having to hold him next to you, and he was not registering, but you could still see in his face, like, I don't understand what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's your favorite cosplay.
Yeah, I think
Oogie Boogie.
And it's like, I've had others that have been my favorite. The newest one I've done is Krampus.
If
you don't know who Krampus is, look it up.
Look it up. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, especially if you're a Christmas fan. I'm not. If you like Christmas and Halloween, Krampus is the greatest thing because it's literally evil Santa.
I'm the Grinch when it comes to Christmas. Yeah. So in our family, which is funny, guys, my mom is gung-ho Christmas. Husband, gung-ho Christmas. Boys, gung-ho Christmas. Steven knows this. I don't like Christmas. No. There's just...
I think it's probably the mainstream of it.
Yeah, it's the mainstream that it's like this whole thing. And I'm not saying Halloween's not mainstream because there's a lot, but I feel like
It's too much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And with me being a people pleaser, as you know, and like, of course, it's called Peachy Sunflower Positivity. You would think I'm all about Christmas. No. I'm all Halloween. And speaking of Halloween, we got to talk about this because we're really excited. And I counted. There's like 6.5 weeks left until we go. We are going to Halloween Horror Nights, guys. So Steve and I get to go. Yeah. I had a girls' trip planned to go back and see my best friend Danielle. And Steven's like, I really want to go. And I'm like, just go when I'm going. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, we'll hang out. And then he's going to stay a little bit longer. So he actually gets to go twice. Yep. So any haunted house that Danielle and I might miss, he'll go. If we miss it that Thursday, he'll be able to see it on the Sunday. Yep. So he's going back. But we already know Danielle has already said which haunted house we're skipping, and I'm okay with that because I don't mind, as I like horror stuff, but the one is the bugs one, and I deal with bugs. Like, I was a zoologist. Like, it doesn't faze me, but I don't want to drag Danielle into something and then her will be ready to leave.
No. I hate bugs, but
you don't like bugs. I don't need to go into a haunted house that's filled with them. I'd rather go into ones that, like, are out there. So I want to talk about the one haunted house that I distinctly remember. And I can't remember if it's one that you were there for or not. Because I got to go. So when I worked at Disney, I got to go with Nicole. Yeah. Then when I had to go back to work seasonal, I went with my mom. And then when we went back, we all three got to go. So Steve, my mom, and I. And Steve and I were in love with it. That was 2010.
Year 2020. Year 20.
Yeah. Their year 20. So it was really cool because they did a lot. And they had a cool theme of there was a fairy tale area. So they turned like everything creepy in the fairy tale area. But there was one area that disturbed my mom so much. She's like, I can't go back if they would have that area again. There's a house that if they have that, Steven's walking into the houses first. Danielle already was like, Steven's going to go first, and then you're going to go in the middle, and I'll be in the back. Like, that's fine, because I know you're going to grab me. And then I can grab him if I get scared. There was a house, though, that I almost threw up at, and I can't remember if you were there.
It was a psycho house.
Yeah. So they had an insane asylum where it broke loose, and it was like the people killed the nurses and stuff. But my mom was in front of me, and she, like, stops in her tracks, and I'm like, go. She's like, you're not going to come in here. She's like, I'm about to throw up. And she's a nurse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I go in there, and the smell. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how they use that smell. I swear to God that, I don't want to say I swear to God, but I feel like they might have used real feces. And if they did not, I don't know what they used.
It had to be sulfur.
Something.
Because I think that was before the fart spray was really popular.
Right. They did something.
And I think it had to be like a mixture of sulfur and rotten eggs.
But they did something.
Yeah.
And when you walked in there, they had like poop splattered all over the wall, all over the toilets, all over the floor. There was a person standing there with it all over them, on top of having blood all over their face. And someone was pretending to eat it. Like, there is horror and there's things that gross me out. And I was like horrified and wanting to throw up. And I was like, if they have that again, that's something I'm going to have to like run.
Well, I think I've done more homework in it because I'm.
Yeah, and you have, because Danielle and I haven't. We kind of left him for the homework of like, what should we do?
I think we need, like, the one thing we haven't talked about is possibly doing the shows, because I know we're sort of limited on time of trying to get to the house.
We're definitely so we're doing something cool because I was able to get us into the restaurant that we really wanted to eat at. Yeah. The first reservation I got was all the way at like 1:30 in the afternoon. We're like, so we're going to eat there and then go get in line. We're going to be starving. But I ended up, we're going to do what's called stay and scream. So we're going to stay in the park and we just show them our ticket. And will be in a line that will enter into what
6.
like at the 6 o'clock they're gonna pop the line.
We have 30
we
minutes.
have heard rumors though that if you're inside for Stay and Scream, they start popping the line for the people inside about 5:45, 5:50 before they open it out to the people outside. So that's why we're staying inside. We're gonna eat at a restaurant.
Start.
Yeah, about a 45-minute start. Which we're going to go stand in the line for Halloween. We already know that that's going to be one of the most popular haunted houses.
Yeah.
One, because just Halloween has kept going with new movies. People our age know it, love it. Everyone knows Halloween. So we're like, get in that line first. Get that haunted house done. And then from there, I think the other haunted house that's going to be pretty popular is the Weekend one. Because he's a well-known artist and has done stuff. So I think the Weekend's probably going to be the next one. But we're going to have to look at the map. So I'm waiting for the map to come out because we're going to have to plot it out. And then I think we really do want to try to do a show. I think it would be fun. That was a good break when Mom and I went the one time.
Yeah.
We actually sat in between going through the haunted house. We're like, let's sit and watch something. We got to see Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good just to sit and watch that. We're probably not going to stand in line for rides unless we're like, oh, we did every single haunted house. We're still in the park. Let's go jump on a ride.
We got till 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I don't know if we're going to make it till 2. Our flight lands at like 10 that morning.
So we gotta leave here. We gotta be up at about 6.
Yeah, and so
we gotta be up by 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and so our flight leaves early. I'll try to sleep on the plane, but we'll get there and we're gonna try to check into our hotel. Don't know how it's gonna work. Probably won't be able to, and that's fine. So we'll just head kind of out to eat like a light pick me up, and then we have dinner at 3:45. That's our reservation, which will be good because that will be a more filling meal.
Yeah.
We're gonna sit and eat that, and then Stay and Scream.
Yeah.
And we have from 6 to 2 a.m. But really, I think we could probably get it done. One, it's not like we're going in a huge group.
Well,
it's just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
And we already know we're skipping the Bugs house because I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. I mean, and if we're gonna skip if we have to skip any other house, I would definitely say we probably. I mean, you never want to assume which is gonna be a bad house.
Yeah, but you can also tell people like that've been to these houses before. They'll write reviews, and you're like, okay, well, your review.
Which I'm definitely gonna be watching because I mean, it start. I think the first night's here on Wednesday, or
it's September 8th.
No, it's here.
4th?
It's like I think it's this Friday. I think is the first night
or second.
Yeah.
I know it starts in September, but I don't think it starts until after Labor Day.
No, it starts before Labor Day.
It does?
Yeah. Because people have been talking about 10
True, because then they're like, oh, they can bring in that whole Labor Day crowd.
Yep.
And when we're going is like 2.5 weeks before Halloween. So it's going to be in that iffy phase of if it's going to be busy or not. Yeah. But we are going on a Thursday night, so I don't think it's going to be as bad.
No.
Because Fridays and Saturdays are the worst. Yeah, and Sundays won't be as bad either because people will be going back to school or going back out of town.
Yeah, I was made sure because I know Sunday's going to be a little busier than Thursday. I did cough with extra money and I got that express pass.
Oh, yeah. And that will be good. So if you missed anything of like having to rush to a house, you go back to another house.
And then I'm definitely, and also I decided to cough up the money and I'm doing the dinner the
dinner.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So yeah, they're having it. They've talked about this before. Where you get to have a dinner with the characters from certain houses and photo ops. So I'm now
curious if my friend Amy will be at that. Maybe I'll message her and Taylor for you. So I have 2 people that I worked out at Disney with. Yeah. They now work at Universal, and I know one's for sure being a Halloween actor again because she posted like, "Hey, I got accepted for Halloween Horror Nights. I'm gonna be a Scream actor." The other one's an event coordinator now. So I might just have to message both of them and just be like, hey, will you be at these events? Like, and go take a Disney, like, reunited photo from my college program. Because that would just be cool to see them. But I mean, yeah. So I'm excited because I'm interested to see how it's going to go. I wonder if they still do, like, when we went, remember they came out with chainsaws. I wonder if they're going to do
still
that.
have the chainsaws.
That's good. So I really hope they have all those cool carved pumpkins. That was really cool to take pictures.
I saw the photo
But
of it.
here's the thing that we're going to have to research, and this is what I think you, me, and Danielle have been watching it religiously. Poor Danielle. Like, Danielle, if you're listening, she got so excited. She sent me this text message, and it's like, Voldemort and his dark is going to come steal your souls.
Yeah. And
we were like, going to go to his like Harry Potter world. It said it would be open. And we were like, what? We go and look. And I reread it and I'm like, hey, Danielle, that says Hollywood. Wonder if they're going to do anything for Orlando. So now it's this anticipation, like, there is that half of King's Cross and Diagon Alley and like, are you gonna do anything? Like, it's not, that's the problem that it writes, is like, there's the Hogwarts side with the castle, and on the side where Halloween Horror Nights is taking place is like the train station and Diagon Alley. But could they put Death Eaters in like the Berks and like...
Well, so that's the thing is, and I mean, this is just from watching, they don't have any scare zones or anything by that lunch. They don't even have any food booths, which we'll talk about that in a second. Because we never got to experience that, but they have nothing set up in that London zone. That's like, and that's the thing is, and one of the people are like, and I know that they do it at Islands of Adventure. They did in the past with bringing the Death Eaters, so it'll be interesting if they possibly bring them into the Universal side.
That would be interesting. Well, now my curiosity is this, though. Do you remember when they had the chainsaws, didn't they come out of that area before? Think about that.
I think...
Like, I know it went... So here, like, from going back, you remember Earthquake. There was the Earthquake ride. Now it's Fast and Furious, which I know Universal people will never listen to this, but can you please do something with that ride? It's horrible. Like, I am a huge Fast and Furious fan. He can opt for this. Love Fast and Furious. The ride is horrible. I won't even go back on it when we go. I'll send you on it if it's open.
I mean,
it's horrible.
Yeah,
but did they come from that area? Because now I'm wondering, is that where they're stationing the actors to come out to?
I don't know. I mean, they could. I know the queue line for it has been queued off, and you will be going through there. Which I'm wondering if that is what it is. It might be where they're doing that. Descendants of Destruction, because you're supposed to be going underground. So they might be putting that there, which it would make sense because, and honestly, I know nothing to that ride. They could probably just shut it down. No one would really care. More people are wanting the Mummy ride to reopen than that.
Is the Mummy ride closed right now?
Yeah. It's still under renovations.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to ride it last time. Let me tell you, that ride is amazing.
I still remember that ride because I think that ride was that ride's been around for a long time.
I hope it comes back open. I really liked that ride.
Yeah. Well, I mean, heck, I haven't been in. Was it 10 or 11 years?
Yeah, well, and when I walked in, I was even kind of thrown because there was rides gone. Like, there's obviously not the Jaws ride anymore. And
the Terminator.
The Earthquake ride was gone, and it was Fast and Furious. And Terminator's gone. It's the Bourne, the Jason Bourne stuff, which actually, I'm going to be honest, that show was just as good as Terminator.
What did Jimmy Fallon take over? Was that the...
I don't know what Jimmy Fallon took over.
I can't remember.
No, it wasn't Terminator because Terminator Bourne Supremacy is where Terminator was. It's that same theater because I remember that theater. I don't remember what Jimmy Fallon took over. E.T. is still there.
And they finally starting to say your name again.
Oh, well, that's good. They better say my name. They didn't say my name last time, so I was all sad.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're working. They took out the Shrek. Shrek's going away.
Shrek is now at the old Barney area. With a meet and greet with Donkey.
I mean, I'll go see Donkey. That ride was not that exciting.
I mean, it was a 4D show. It was like watching what's it called? Philomat, like that was that one.
The Philhar Magic? Go this on Philhar Magic. So I will talk about Disney. I think Chris is like, how are you gonna talk about Disney? I said, I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm gonna answer Disney questions. because we know how I am about my Disney. Okay, only because we're continuing to talk about horror. You guys, if you're watching it on YouTube, you'll be able to see it, but Steven's got some cool horror stuff throughout this office area. If you can't see it, we're going to talk about, I'm going to have you explain your favorite horror piece in this room.
Oh, favorite horror piece.
I know.
Oh, man. Well, I'm actually going to get up a second.
That's fine. You can go for it.
This one I actually have to show. I would say it's one of my dolls here, but actually, no. This one's sort of special to me because I bought it from a local, I think it's a local person, but if you have ever seen the movie Silence of the Lambs, you would know Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
This is actually a real taxidermied death head moth. I bought it.
Species that is.
Yep. Articuleopus
africa.
And honestly, I know this sounds crazy, and you'll that piece there. It has a little extra special meaning, even though it is from a horror movie. Our grandpa, who's no longer with us, used to collect butterflies and beetles. And honestly,
everywhere in their house.
Yeah.
So cool.
And I remember, me and Layla used to have to sleep in the office, and that's where he had them. But that right there sort of has a little connection with it.
Yeah.
And that's probably also why that's one of my favorites.
It's pretty cool.
It's unique. Not many people are going to have it. But, I got life-size replicas for movies. I got masks and everything. But that one's from a local person.
Okay, do you have a favorite horror movie? I know. If someone asks me that, I'm like, I don't even have a favorite movie. I have a list. Things that make my top 10. And I'm the person that's like, a series counts as one.
Okay.
Like Harry Potter is one.
So I'm going to do it. I can't honestly say I have a favorite but I'll do it this way. I'll break it down to five, favorite vampire movie. And this is one I recommend to every person watch. And even if you don't like vampires.
I don't like vampires.
Let the right one in. It is a foreign film. There's either watch with the subtitles, which is a lot better. But it does have a foreign dub. Even they've done an American remake called Let Me In, but it's not as good. Werewolf, I'm going to sit here and raise probably favorite werewolf movie of all time, American Werewolf in London. And, you're not even a werewolf person. You like that.
I like that. I think Twilight ruined werewolves and vampires.
Yeah.
It's not that I dislike them. I think they ruined them.
I can understand that. It's sort of like True Blood, sort of it did more damage than it did good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mummy movies, I honestly cannot sit here and recommend a mummy movie. Unless, horror-wise. I'm going to use horror. I'm going to use horror-wise.
I think that's the haunted house. I'm curious to find out. The werewolf, mummy, and vampire one. They're doing a Legends. Universal Legends. It'll be interesting. I want to see how they do that.
Yeah, other than one Brandon Fraser, that's probably the only movie I can ever mention. Zombie-wise, I'm going to sit here and say, I know this. I'm going to go Dawn of the Dead, and I'm talking the original, not the one that was remade, but original Dawn of the Dead with it. I think that was, your son actually was, your son asked to be a zombie one year, and you asked me to do it.
Okay. So Mason comes up to you and is like, I want to be the zombie from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steven, he wants to be the zombie from Wreck-It Ralph. How do we do this? Just the zombie from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep. So I sat there and I was like, I can't do that one, but I can do one.
Why do you want to be a zombie from Wreck-It Ralph? Who knows?
Slasher. I'm a Halloween horror. My Halloween.
So I agree with Halloween. I think that's all my favorite.
Yeah.
I can tell you ones that I don't like. I don't know if it's just they rubbed me a wrong way. There's two that I'm like, please, I don't want to look at it, and I don't even care to watch it. Not because I'm scared of it. I just didn't like. I just was like, I'm gonna get up, or I don't know. I don't like Chucky. I don't like Child's Play stuff. No. I don't even like the dude. I don't even want to look at him. I think it's ugly. It creeps me out, and the fact that my kid hugs it. Is just like, but why?
You want to be my friend to the end?
No, I don't want to be your friend till the end. I don't want to be your friend at all. I think, too, it's because we went to that Halloween Horror Nights and we have a picture of it. There was a Chucky there, and it was like the same.
It was almost a midget.
Yeah,
I hate to use. I mean, I'm not the appropriate term. A little person.
Little person. Okay.
But yeah, it was a little person, or it was a child actor, because they were 4 foot.
Mm-hmm. And it scared the frick, because it walked into me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What is that?" Hello.
See, I've loved those movies. I mean, that's
you like Chucky.
Yeah.
I'm just Chucky, and then Jeepers Creepers.
I know a lot of people who do not like that movie.
I do not like Jeepers Creepers. I cannot get into it. I don't.
You've been scared of that movie since you were in middle school.
And I think it's because I watched it with someone and
Candace.
they grabbed me.
Candace.
And since that, I think just watching how petrified they got, it kind of just like reminds me of how scared they were. And then I get the empathetic heart. I'm like, I'm so sorry I made you watch that.
Yeah, it was I know. Actually, remember it was Candace.
Okay. I'm sorry, Candace.
Yep.
I really am.
Yeah.
But those two. I am the person, though, all the Saw movies. I love me some Saw. Steven's like, what? I don't know.
I like the first two. That's all.
The Saw movies, the Hostel movies. I don't mind Friday the 13th. I don't mind.
You do not like Friday. You do not like Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's because they killed Johnny Depp.
No, you.
Okay, I don't like it because I had this sweater. Everyone kept calling me Freddy Krueger in it. So that's why I don't like it. It's not that it's a bad movie. I'll watch it. But I don't like it because everyone called me Freddy Krueger in the sweater.
Well, there's one movie, and I think it's finally getting a lot of the love it deserves. And I remember showing you it. It's called Trick or Treat.
Yeah, that is a good movie. At first, I was like, I'm not gonna watch it, and it's actually good.
Yeah,
I think another movie too that people always are like, I love it. I do love those kind of movies. I think they're crazy. Like the Science Land movies. It. Doctor Strange. Those movies.
Doctor Strange.
Not Doctor Strange. You know
Doctor
what? Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
I got Marvel on the brain.
Which is
because I just watched Marvel. I'll be honest, because I really did this last week watch Doctor Strange Multiverse.
Actually, if you do not know, Doctor Sleep is actually a sequel to the original movie, The Shining.
Yes, The Shining. That's a good one. Psycho. Yep. American Psycho. So I had Chris watch American Psycho for the first time, and he's like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm like, you're not supposed to.
No. It's the best. It's the best. And one of the best. One of the best.
Now agree with
biggest.
Can you agree with me on this TV series? Let's see. Bates Motel.
I liked Bates Motel a lot. I unfortunately have not finished the last season.
It's the best one. You got to. Please, and then we can discuss on their plane. I don't care if we have to download it and watch it. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. Sir, well, which one? Sabrina, the new Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina series.
I liked that it was a horror.
Yes.
I know a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't have the same
magic. I wanted that.
And I loved, that's why I'm sort of excited to see how Tim Burton does Wednesday.
Yes. Okay, so that's not a horror movie, but I know a lot of parents were against kids watching Addams Family because it kind of ties into like the Halloween aspect and that kind of stuff. But I grew up with Christina Ricci, and that lady is badass. Her and Winona Ryder. Okay,
yeah.
Beetlejuice is not a scary movie, but like Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder, Christina Ricci, like they can play off those characters and are like perfection. Mm-hmm. So when they came out with the picture, I'll be honest, and this is me being a huge critic, I was like, there is no way you can get as good of a Morticia.
Oh, Catherine
Zeta-Jones looks like Morticia. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Perfection. Yeah. Perfection. The girl playing Wednesday, that's little Christina Ricci. Yeah. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this, and I might be wrong until I see them act. I feel like they missed the mark on Gomez.
So I saw the trailer, and I saw it.
I have not to see the trailer. That's the thing.
Okay, so I saw Gomez. I was like, why does he look so different than every Gomez? And I listened to what Tim Burton said. He is going off the original animated like the original anime. And if you look at that Gomez, he looks just like him.
Okay.
And a lot of people who've seen it have sat there and talked about how good of a job he's. But I know it sounds. I've always seen that actor as this background guy. I've never seen him like as the main thing. But here's something you'll be excited about. They have not announced Camp Uncle Fester.
Oh.
And you know who's rumored to be playing Uncle Fester? Johnny Depp.
Guys, I'm a Johnny Depp person. We all know this. Like, please. The man needs redemption.
Yeah.
Because his ex-wife's a psychopath. So, here's the thing. When that whole thing was going down, I never talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, I worked at Disney. I got to meet a lot of celebrities. You know the celebrities I met. I got to meet Johnny Depp. I was in character. Could not talk to the man. Couldn't break character. I was being paid by Disney. Walked by me. Can't break character, of course. Man's the nicest person you're going to meet. Does he have issues?
Oh.
Everyone does. But to make his career pretty much end because you're doing so much lying and you have nothing to back up your lies, that poor man needs redemption. That's me. I have loved him. Well, I loved him until Freddie killed him off. But I really hope, because I could see him as Uncle Fester.
Oh, yeah.
And he can pull off anything, really. Like, everything he's done with Tim Burton has been amazing. He is just a character actor. Like, Johnny Depp, like, is a character actor. Sweeney Todd, like, Captain Jack Sparrow. He is known for his characters, so I think he'd be a perfect Fester.
Oh, yeah.
That might be me being biased, but also I did see, and I'm really hoping this happens, Christina Ricci is supposed to make an appearance in that series.
They're just not announcing what role she's playing, which
it would be interesting to see.
I know this sounds stupid, and I mean, I have a feeling either she's playing, maybe she's playing the headmistress of the school that
would be
Wednesday's
good
going to. And I know this is a fan one, which fans really, you gotta love some of the theories out there. She's gonna be doing heavy makeup and she's playing grandma.
That'd be cute too.
Yeah, grandma.
So I was a little sad, but then I understood it when they didn't have her be Morticia.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I'm thinking of her age.
She's right
she's just right at that cusp where I don't know if she could pull off
the mom.
I
mean, when Rotor Rider, I would say Stranger Things made her, she is officially, in my mind, I can't see her other than a mom.
No, yeah. And if she comes back in Beetlejuice 2, because that's another one that they said they're going to move along with production. Tim Burton's going to do that one as well. Yeah. If they move along with her, I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe it will be her kids.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome because she does play a good mom. I enjoy her as a mom on Stranger Things. But I think Christina Ricci's just like right there where I don't know if she could pull off Morticia.
Yeah.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones is like that perfection age where she can pull that off.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good. I'm excited for it. There'll be another season of Stranger Things. Many people think that's horror. I think it's more sci-fi. So that's happening. There is another horror thing. I don't know if you've ever watched it, The Haunting of Hill House.
I have not watched it.
Okay, it's really good. That's Chris. So my husband thinks, and him and I kind of, I don't want to say share the same opinion, but because it's not even close. But Chris is very much into like the paranormal stuff and like afterlife and the ghost things. Like he finds that scary. Where I'm like, I'll watch it. It's good, but it doesn't scare me. Whereas like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and the Scream dude, like people that actually go and freaking kill people, or Hannibal.
I'm gonna say the most paranormal, and it's because is the one that's bothered me to this day. Other is Exorcist.
That one is scary, and there is the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and that one bugged me, where I was like, oh heck no.
But that's to me a little different than Ghost.
Yeah.
That's like different than The Conjuring and but there's like it's like somebody's like, oh,
so it's interesting that like certain people's horror stuff, like that's Chris's, where yours and I's more like slasher and like creepy stuff.
You see I have I have close to 300 plus horror movies. And
that's why I don't buy any, because I could just be like, Steven, can I borrow a movie? Which I don't buy movies much anymore, except only because I'm staring at it, because there's this really cool license plate. I'm not going to pull it off as well. But Jurassic Park, and people are terrified that we can vouch. Our mom is terrified of Jurassic Park. Like, my dad taught the bird to whistle the song, and it would freak her out. She's petrified of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. Mason has a severe obsession. Like, his birthday party was themed that. This year, that's what he wants as his costume, by the way. He wants Ryder to be T-Rex, and he wants to be Blue, and then all of us dress up as the characters.
Well, I have the Jurassic Park Jeep driver.
I'm like, that's what I say. Steve can be the Jeep driver. I can be Claire. I can try. Don't have her body.
Are you do the, what's her name?
I could be,
from the original.
Yeah.
Is that all?
Ellie.
That's all.
Ellie.
That's all. It's khakis and a.
Yeah. But see, some people think that's scary. And I'm like, I don't think it's scary. I don't know.
I mean, it's just, everyone has a different opinion. I mean, and especially if you're like, you don't like gore. I mean, that's. Oh.
And I think that's the thing with horror. Okay, so like you got to be a person that's either like, oh, I don't mind the gore, or like I can't watch gore at all.
Yeah.
And I don't mind either.
So,
or you like I don't mind either. There's people that don't mind either one.
So there's I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they're rating the favorite horror films. Horror kills. Horror kills.
Oh, okay.
And they went into great depth about one of the kills, and how a lot of people, I don't get mine by decapitation, people getting ripped in half. I mean, have you seen the movie Hatchet? That movie's awesome. Same with Silent Night, Deadly Night. I know you've never seen that.
I haven't seen Silent Night.
So literally, one of the scenes is the guy's Santa. He's a killer Santa. He literally lifts up the woman and impales her on a reindeer. Reindeer mount.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
I can watch. That doesn't bother me. Hostel. The one scene that bothers me in Hostel.
I know what scene it is.
Is the one where the guy slices the back of the Achilles tendons, and he stands up, and they brought up a great thing in the broadcast is it's something you can imagine the pain with. Sort of like, I can't stand, and you see me cringe, and I don't cringe at. I hate slow cuts on skin in a horror film or anything.
That doesn't bother me. You know what bothers me?
Yeah.
Eyes. Anything with eyes.
Yeah, but you don't like this.
I legitly will start I have to look away. I can't do things with eyes. So like if something goes through an eye, I'm like. So Final Destination is actually one of my other things. Like I watch every single Final Destination, but there's one of them that the one scene that grosses me. It's not really grosses me out. It scares the crap out of me because I imagine it. I can't remember which one it is, but you'll know which one I'm going to talk about. Where the fireworks fall and they go everywhere.
And it burns the woman.
I am petrified. Last year I lit my first firework. He got to, and even this year I had an experience in the NICU with the boys and fireworks and the sounds, and I went into labor with Ryder after 4th of July. It's just a whole thing with me, so I've never liked fireworks. Mm-hmm. And then I watched that movie again, and that went off, and I'm like imagining in my brain, like that could actually happen.
Yeah.
And then after that, I have a vivid dreams. Like this is why I can't watch that one film. I have vivid dreams of being at Walt Disney World, and the fireworks are going off, but then they malfunction, and they're like shooting off in different directions while you're running down Main Street. Yeah. I don't know what it is about fireworks.
Well, I mean, anything with fire is, I can sit here and say this because I went through the fire academy. I was a certified firefighter. People do not understand. Fire is its own creature. Some people can attempt to control it. It is very uncontrollable. I was put into a room that went up to 1,500 degrees, and I was in full protective gear. Let's just say this. I came out of there, my hair literally felt like it was on fire, and I had all the right protective gear and everything. It was amazing to watch. Because we were dousing these pallets down to where almost those embers, and we stopped it, and it literally rolled completely back over, went back up to 1,500 degrees. That's how fast. So
that's like a horror in itself.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so what is that movie then? That would probably someone could consider that a horror movie where
Backdraft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So lots of good horror movies we talked about. How I kind of close off my podcast, because we're getting kind of a time where I'm like, we've talked about horror a lot. I've had a good conversation. We'll have to do this again. Maybe when we come back so we can share everything that we got to do. All right. So I always like to give people suggestions of a book that you've recently read that makes you happy and you would suggest to somebody, a movie you recently watched or a TV series you recently watched. And then, of course, as we sign off, if you have any businesses you want to plug, go for it. So take it away.
Okay, so a book I've been reading as many books. I've been reading a lot of graphic novels. I guess the last book I read, and I know this sounds crazy I started reading the Bridgerton series.
Those books are good. That's not horror, Steven.
No, I know.
But you're saying Bridgerton is good?
I mean,
guys, sex.
Well,
so much sex in that show.
I will sit there
and the books. It's such a good book, though.
If you're into erotica,
you're not the only guy I've heard say that.
If you're into erotica, it's actually not. So I've just finished the Duke and I.
Oh yeah.
And I just started the count. And yeah,
okay,
the second one.
So Bridgerton.
Yeah, I'm caught up on the Bridgerton series.
I'm waiting for you to say some horror film book to give them because that's what we talked about. But I love this, you guys. Now I know I can talk Bridgerton to him. Now we got to get you to watch the show.
I watched the Bridgerton show.
Did you watch it? Guys? See, this is our next thing. See, Marie and I got to talk to somebody about Bridgerton. We love some Bridgerton.
So, and if I'm gonna recommend to hire any horror books.
I know, Stephen King. I keep looking over there because I'm like, I wonder which ones I haven't read.
I mean, Catherine can see it. I almost have
the whole bookshelf is pretty much.
I almost have every Stephen King book except
along with all his Harry Potter ones, which I think we're gonna have to do a Harry Potter podcast.
But honestly, if I have to recommend a horror book, that's truly a horror book, I'm gonna recommend two, because this one is more real life and it's actually scary. And Catherine read it too. It's called The Hot Zone. It is about Ebola and how it can outbreak. I would like to sit here and thank my senior English teacher, Mr.
Pribble.
Pribble, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Pribble, you're probably never going to hear this, but anybody that went to the Valley Northwest, you're at The Hot Zone. It is so good.
Yeah.
I, to this day, remember that book.
Yeah. But honestly, if I have to... is one of the movies I recommended. Let the Right One In.
Oh, yeah.
The book is actually scarier and more disturbing than the movie. Yeah. Which, you have that a lot of time. I mean, Harry Potter actually has a lot more dark themes in the books than it does the movies. You see it a little in the books and movies about actually how messed up Uncle Vernon and how abusive they were to Harry. But when you read the book, you read the books, you see that he abused, how he was physical, verbal, how Aunt Petunia was physical and verbal. They actually were not great. Yeah, they glossed it a little. Oh, they made him live. They made him live in a cupboard. They don't mention how Aunt Marge used to sit the dog on him or anything. But yeah, I would definitely recommend horror book. Let the Right One In.
Okay. Any movies?
Movies?
Just let's do one. Let's see, most recent one
most recent movie I watched that I would recommend. I guess I'm gonna keep it horror themed here. I'm gonna go one called The Society.
I've not seen that. Okay.
It's a very messed up movie.
I have to ask if you watched this movie. The Black Phone.
I bought it. It's sitting in my downloads.
Okay, we need to both watch it and get back to each other because that is the main house for Halloween Horror Nights. Black Phone and Freaky.
I've watched Freaky.
Yeah.
Freaky's good.
So...
Have you watched Freaky yet?
I feel like I have, but it's been a while, so I might have to watch it again.
Freaky, the best way I can describe it is Freaky is literally Freaky Friday with horror.
There we go.
Take hot chick and reverse it with serial killer. That's
there we go.
That's a little bit.
All right, so we did books. We did.
Oh, all right. TV show.
Yeah, is there a TV show?
Other than Stranger Things,
yeah.
Which I've been watching the old Seinfeld, which I know a lot of people, but I guess off just what everybody's hearing, if you're a comic book fan, The Sandman.
Okay, that keeps popping up on our recommendations, so maybe that's what we'll watch.
Yep.
All right. So, is there any business you want to plug or give a shout out to?
Well, I'm gonna plug my own art business. If you go on Facebook, it's gonna be under Smith's Art Design, which the abbreviation would be SAD, SAD.
Which I think is so cool.
because we used to do events together, and hers wasn't magical events, so it was me. We used to call it Sad Me or Me Sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we. But
And
yeah,
it's cool.
at Smith's Art Design. Just go on Facebook. I have not updated the page in a long time. I've been doing art. Trust me, I just printed out 50 different pieces of art that I've done over the year. I do art all year. I just don't get around to scanning it because it
takes forever.
I did 300 and I did it's called profile challenge, where some people do it once a week, or I did it or once a day for a month. I did all year. It was 366 paintings. Yes, this was all the way back in 2016, but it took me almost 2 years to finally get everything updated.
So, just so we're clear, it's Smith's Art Design on Facebook.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, is it just your personal one, and they can still see kind of your stuff?
It's personal. Yeah, that one's.
I think it's Steve-O.
It should be. Let me see here. It's pretty bad. It's Steve-O_sad.
Okay.
And I do post a lot of my art. Like I'm right now doing what's called the 100 Days to Halloween on my Instagram, which you get to see more of my horror collection and my Halloween decorations, which, yeah. And I did one, if you're a Halloween Horror Nights fan, I did carve my own Little Boo, which you are not, you sort of know who Little Boo has become the icon of Halloween. He's up there with Jack the Clown and everything. Yeah. But, other shout I'm going to do is going to be to Elite Comics.
Yes.
Because, William's been a great, he's a great guy. He sits there and he raises money every year for the Children's Mercy. He goes and gets money, and he goes and buys these children's toys during Christmas. I used to sit there and I help donate and everything. But he also lets me set up his art events. So I will actually be set up at Overland Park Convention Center on September 24th for his show.
And I think this podcast will launch on the 12th.
Oh, okay.
So local Kansas people, it's going to be the 5th or the 12th, yeah. Local Kansas people, make sure to get over to Overland Park Convention Center. Stephen will be there. Check out the Smith's Art Design on Facebook. Check out Steve-O_SAD for his horror collection and other pieces of art. As for the Peachy Sunflower, make sure to... Mason wants me to say this. Double thumbs up. Subscribe on YouTube. Chris says tickle the bell to follow me on Spotify or other podcast forums. You can follow me on Instagram at the.peachysunflower. And as always, if you have any suggestions for us to talk about down the lane, I will definitely probably have you back because I've had a lot of fun. Give us some topics to talk about. We'll cover it, but I think next time we'll dive into Harry Potter. And also cover what we got to do when we went to Halloween Horror Nights. So until then, thanks so much for joining Stephen and myself, Kat. And as always, have a peachy life.